Ladies and gentlemen, to Take TV's Legacy of the Ultras. Spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, not having much luck in this series so far. It's going to be the purple Terran player Goody.
In the top left, as the red Zerg gets Nerchio.
Alright, so Nerchio's going to have Goody's number. Last game was a little bit more tight than I thought it was going to be, but this has still just been a very one-sided series. We talked a little bit before, a lot of these sort of rankings are really heavily based off of wins and losses when it comes to placements in the Legacy of the Ultras. But for Nerchio, someone who's been 7-1 so far, his map score hasn't been the cleanest. It's really good, I just want to throw that out there, but hardly 2-0ing and 3-0ing a lot of his opponents. So this one today could be something really important to him where he finishes all his matches up early, and he's just got to kind of sit there and wait and hope everyone else does poorly. And if it gets down to a tie, of course, map score wins, and that's where these sort of matches really come into play. Or what is potentially these matches, I should say.
That is true. I have to imagine that in a couple of weeks, Take TV will release, like, do some hype stuff, I guess. Release a nice little document about who's in the lead and what they have to do. Yeah, it'd be cool to see this.
It's actually interesting because here's the contrast between first and second place, right? Nerchio was 7-1, very far ahead of BC, who's 5-3. But Nerchio's map scores are 21-10, whereas BC's is 20-14. So really not too dissimilar, just obviously a lot of 2-3s instead of 3-2s.
Yeah. Well, this will help out. Goody, unfortunately, I mean, I don't know. I was talking about when you were gone, like, I really don't know what is... So do they have like basically like a safety mechanism, we'll call it, in place where if someone is obviously not going to be top 6 or whatever, they still have an incentive to play?
So I don't know if they plan to do another season of this, but classically speaking, Take TV's usually done multiple seasons of their tournaments in the past. You know, ATC is the biggest example of this. So it could just simply be like, okay, if you guys are not going to play your matches, you're just banned from the next one. And no one wants that to happen. Alternatively, I guess, yeah, you probably could. If you're just a dick of player, you can either drop out entirely or just refuse to play your matches.
Yeah, or like not care about playing your matches though too, because what sucks is that for a person that you might be facing, just the way they're pre-ordered from the very beginning of the league, that you're going to be facing someone who's like on the brink, and you're going to let them 3-0 you basically. So you don't want that thing to happen.
That's kind of part of the strategy, though, too. Like, you've also got these players who they might not be in the running to win anything anymore, but they're in the running to screw up anybody's score who's left in the fight.
They're in the running to screw everyone else over.
So I guess it's kind of the opposite of what you're bringing up. But there's the thing where, like, okay, let's say Hearthstone, who's at the bottom, sees that he's fighting Nerchio. Well, the idea isn't to beat Nerchio because you probably can't win, but cause him to lose as many maps as possible, or something like this. I think there's definitely still different types of strategies you can play at the end of the tournament, even if you're not in first place, so to speak. But this attack with the legs is pretty darn quick, and Goody's only got a small handful of Marines to deal with this. Not even fully walled off on the ramp. Oh no!
He was gonna go for another tank drop, and it doesn't give you Hellions. And Hellions, they'll deal with this eventually, and I guess the tank will too, but not as cleanly as Hellions would. So, really nice attack from Nerchio here. It's gonna cause a lift off, I believe, in the command centers to go around it.
It should. It absolutely should.
Round.
Takes him a second to realize. I mean, okay, so you get a command center down to half health. There's not a lot of Terran players who actually repair this. So this might actually still be good. Make it easier to snipe later on, as weird as that is to consider. But he is going to start heading out with that tank drop. And Nerchio's on his way to a faster layer. He's going to try and get those Mutalisks out ASAP. He knows exactly what's coming, but the annoying problem is even with that knowledge, there's not a lot you can do until Mutalisks come into play. Queens can try and focus down the medevacs, and the emphasis is on try. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty tough fight for Goody if Nerchio gets those mutas out.
Yeah, even without him though, I'm not really concerned. I don't think Nerchio is either. If it was 2 tanks, maybe a little concerned, but only 1 should be, defendable by just Queens. Does cancel the 3rd preemptively though. I mean, that's already kind of damage done, but it's threatening the tank drop.
Potentially. Starts it up again though.
This is canceled, and that's really good. Queens of the walk. They're very, very slow butts over here. Is he gonna react?
That's another ability from Starbuck kind of miss. Nurturing Swarm or whatever is kind of cool. We can essentially transfuse a building to make it build faster, but Ninja's got to just run away. Middle of the map, we got another push.
I can't believe the tank did that much damage. We got 2 cancels when Ling's gonna be able to buy time. And now the Lings do cover up all the Marines and the tanks, so that kind of makes up for it.
You know, getting one of the tanks was a little unexpected, but killing the Marines was really nice because now there's not really any anti-air. Those mutas, whether it's 2, 6, 8, or more, are just not gonna have anything to shoot them. Everything Goody has, you know, so it's a tank, it's a medevac, it's a Banshee. Nothing that is particularly anti-air.
He doesn't even have an engineering bay. Ooh. So, that's a problem.
If Nerchio finds the timing to attack, that could actually be so sick. Because Goody is going to go into mech, and the problem is, with mech, you're not exactly pumping out 7 Thors right away. Not on 2 bases, at least. Goody has no money to do this. In fact, I'd say he's almost 2 factories too high for what his current gas income is.
Doesn't have an armory either. Can't put any liberators to help out initially. It's quite scary, but the Banshee will at least buy maybe, you know, 20 more seconds. Mutas do want to chase that down before attacking, so it looks like he'll have enough time to get that anti-air, but it was close.
Maybe. 1 or 2 turrets isn't going to cut it. I do like that he's putting a couple down. And let's not forget the sort of transitions around the production. There we go.
They're kind of in odd spots.
They are, but Goody he just put 800, 600 minerals into turrets. He doesn't have a planetary or an orbital to be made out of his 3rd CC. There's an SCV inside of it, which is kind of blocking it, oddly enough.
That's weird. That usually happens when I try to make a planetary, because P is next to O, but
I would hope he recognizes this. That orbital needs to be made sooner than later so you get the most energy use out of it, right? There we go.
Odd. Well, the mutas aren't really looking to dive in haphazardly. The turrets are in weird locations that you could abuse if you were kind of really paying attention, got good control, but then you risk not having an out through those kind of oddly placed turrets, and you don't want to risk that.
Well, change is an interesting way to try and get in your scout. I like a focus down, though. Papers, please.
Present. Open up, please.
Alright, so for Nerchio's sake, his creep spread actually is looking fantastic. We've discussed this before. I don't think we need to get too far into it, but again, just it looks really good. His 4th is finishing up in a moment. He's got a pretty high drone count. Everything about Nerchio is just kind of going swimmingly, and poor Goody finds himself once again on 2 bases, forced into this turtle style that maybe he's even trying to grow out of, but just can't. Yeah. It's like, I want to change, guys. You keep calling me this shitty turtle player, and you just don't give me the chance.
Leave Goody alone.
Yeah, go full on Chris Crocker on this.
God, well, it is old. Yes, it is. It's like 10 years old now. And it's pretty bad for Goody, who's already on Iron Fortress. Like, it's so odd that he went bio on one of the better maps for mech in Orbital Shipyard. But he goes mech on Iron Fortress, where if you can get 3 bases secured, you can usually get 4. To get into that 3rd securing that 3rd is difficult to do. And we have that very powerful Roach transition that's, well, it just works, man. And then it transitions into a Roach Hydra, and that's pretty hard to deal with. This is just, it's a big army. Not, you know, terrifying. If he has siege tanks in right positions, he can deal with it, but that is not the correct position for a siege tank.
He picks up the siege tank to save it, but the Thor is out of position. Roach is picking off pretty well. Get that surround, though. Is this going to be enough? Hellbats might just push us back. There's still a Banshee in the sky and nothing to shoot yet, but the Roaches are just killing everything on the ground. Thors all fall. Such expensive units going down like this. Hellbat's also going to die, but he should ultimately hold versus the Roaches. I guess the question is, was this worth it at the end of the day? Nerchio kills a lot of really expensive high-tech units like the Roaches, or sorry, like the Thors and like the tanks. Even killing some SCVs here is kind of left for dead. Thor being picked up in that medevac to keep it alive a little bit longer.
Another Thor's gonna go down. No Rodex pick that up. The Banshee is still chipping away at their Roaches, but it's only one Banshee. She can only do so much.
Kind of feel like this is all falling apart for Goody. Down in supply in a pretty big way. He's trying to bulk up here in the main. Tank gonna get a nice position. Bunker's still standing, but his 3rd base has been more or less shut down. That Banshee Oh god, she wants to clean all this up so badly, but she's just one woman. She needs some sisters in the sky to help her really clean these up a lot better. Looks like you did go for a run by with Hellions, by the way. Gets a couple of drones from Nerchio, but really not enough to be devastating.
Nah. He rebuilt them instantly. He is on 4 bases. Once he's maxed out, it'll probably go on to 5. Oh, 12 more drones, actually. Ooh, getting quite high in the drone count. But where are those Hydras? Is this going to depend on Vipers to be the anti-air? Because, like, what if Goody had double Starport Banshee behind this and had, like, suddenly 5 Banshees? And suddenly this could turn around in a big way with that anti-air. And look, it's only going to be 2. So the second one's coming out now.
I mean, for Nerchio's sake, he was already doing well, but now he's moving on to that Hive. What do you... I mean, I feel like he's got everything available to him, right? If he wanted, he could go Ultralisks. If he wants to play, it's more standard, just go to Vipers. I mean, like, everything is available to Nerchio right now. Yeah, Vipers. Cool. Parasitic Bombs could take out that air, something he's not really been able to deal with.
Didn't even bother with Hydralisk. Who needs them?
I kind of wish we would have seen Goody go for the Hyperflight Rotors if he was going to keep making Banshees like this, but the one Banshee for now, heading across the map, there's a Spore Crawler and a Queen waiting for it.
Could get a cancel on the 5th base that I was talking about earlier. Seems the only thing that Goody can get is a bunch of cancels. Which is, you know, it's
his
a
buildings
good
and theirs.
Yeah, exactly. A Greater Spire is on the way. Honestly, Nerchio could probably kill him just by, like, forcing his way with roaches. But that's also a good way to, you know, over-invest and die. Especially when Legacy of the Void is such a limited economy. After, you know, 12 minutes, you're starting to mine on your main natural. So a Greater Spire is just going to make sure that he wins without having to trade a whole lot of units.
Sorry, I don't know what the camera was up there. I don't know, do you think he's gonna have enough Vikings for you?
No.
I mean, like my thing I'm looking at on this too is if you guys haven't seen it, if you haven't been watching some of the, like Nathaniel's stream amongst others, you just can't go Air versus Zerg. Parasitic Bomb is way too strong, like beyond stupid strong. But diving with Blinding Clouds, not a care in the world. No need to remove the air from the field just yet. Just come in with those roaches, clean up the doors, clean up the tanks. These bad boys don't stand a chance. GG is called a Nerchio. Nerchio's gonna take this series with a beautiful 3-0 ace and knock Goody out. Of course, not out of the tournament, just out of this best of 5, but